Hello and welcome to Sweet Spot DFS. This is a DraftKings lineup build video. It's the first one I've done. I kind of wanted to go over, I've talked about how I create lineups, but, we can do a dive into this and perhaps with your guys' feedback, let me know if you like this version a little bit better than the preview version or I shouldn't say version, but type of video. I also found out that I don't qualify for membership, creating a membership status or whatever it is on YouTube. So I can't really do the membership through YouTube. I am still going to figure out a way. I do want to reward people who show me their appreciation, when it comes to the lineup or, just the extra content that I can provide. All right. With that being said, let's get into the spreadsheet. I am not going to go over the course preview or anything like that because I did that during the preview. What I do want to go through is the bucket table. If you've seen these videos before, you understand what this is. If you don't, I'll explain it kind of fairly quickly. We try to find golfers that kind of fit a mold when it comes to finishing positions either the year before or the week before. We try to find some kind of pattern recognition. That's essentially all I'm doing. For the John Deere Classic, in the top 5, we see a lot of golfers who did not play the year before. That's what I'm going to be targeting when we go down to the top 10 bucket, because that is what the spreadsheet, the DK spreadsheet that I have, goes by, is this top 10 bucket. We're going to find out there's more golfers in last year bucket 1, or just a more higher frequency. Then the second bucket that we're into for the last year bucket would be the 1 to 20 finishing position. So the year prior finishing inside the top 20. And then, coming down to last week, not playing the week before and also missing the cut the week before. Those are high in there's a high frequency of finding the top 5 as well as the top 10. So we're going to try to create we're going to look at some kind of different differential or just combination between the two, between last year and last week. Coming down here, the only notable thing to let you guys know is the last week bucket for the top 10 is a slightly different than the top 5. These are the only ranges that switch, the 1 to 20 and 20 to 40. I like to go by the top 5, especially if it's close. So I'm going to, when we look at the DraftKings spreadsheet, we're going to focus more on the 4s than the 3s. And really, when we come down to the top 10, all it does is keep basically it further separates the 1s and 2s from the 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. Just so you guys are aware of that. For the last week, 1 to 20 range, you only get 2 more golfers, as opposed to 10 more for the 1s and 8 more for the 2s. You could literally make a lineup just either using 1s or 2s from the last week bucket. All right. One other thing to note is looking at the combinations that we've seen year to year. We do see a lot of 1-1s. We see it every single week. So I'm definitely going to have a 1-1 in my lineups for sure. Maybe 2 of them, but I'm going to keep that in mind. You don't see many 6s in the last year bucket. You see the one with Michael Kim winning last year, but he also was a perfect candidate for the last week bucket. That's one thing I do want to keep in mind. When you see these higher numbers, you're going to find a lot of them are paired with 1s, for the last week. So last week bucket 1 is very important this week. I'm going to jump into the course history. This is the next piece that I kind of look at. Right away, what I try to do is just find golfers who have a long history of playing this event and having good finishes, like a Zach Johnson. Scott Brown finishes up there as well. I think Chris Stroud has decent, and so does Brian Harmon. You know, those are golfers I'm looking at right away. I want to see if there's a long-standing, because some golfers, when they come to certain golf courses, are just they know how to play them. Just like the old timers that go and play the Masters, they just know the golf course really well, and they continue to play well every single year. Another thing, when I look at this course history page, of course I'm looking at, you know, all of the golfers. I'm looking at this average number. Obviously, you'll see that on the spreadsheets. You know, I pull data from this spreadsheet and apply them to the recent form spreadsheet as well as the DK spreadsheet. It's a good number to look at, but what I will do is just look at top 10s, see how many top 10 finishes we have out there. Zach Johnson leads the way with 4 over the last 6 years. That's pretty remarkable. Followed by Johnson Wagner, Ryan Moore, Brian Harmon, and JJ Henry. I'm not too fond of JJ Henry this week, but if you did want a bullet to play, he's definitely one of them that you should play. Ryan Moore, I'm not sure how I feel about it. This is a very volatile course history where, sure, it looks good from 2016 and on. I just don't like, at the price he is at, these 20th places. They're not going to win you tournaments, so I'm very wary of that. I'm going to get rid of events, you know, 0 to 1, and just look at 2 and further, and then look at the worst finishing position. Basically the worst best finishing position, or the best worst finish. That's how we want to say it. And just look at how many events someone has played and their worst finishing position. You know, Zach Johnson is 5th on this list. Again, he's up there. Chad Campbell was a golfer I highlighted in my my preview video. He's very low priced. He hits a draw. I think this golf course better suits a draw golfer. Same with Zach Johnson. They're both golfers who hit a right to left draw. Both right-handers that hit right to left draws. You know, this is nice to see, especially for the price that those guys are at. I would consider these guys cut makers in a way. I definitely don't have the most confidence in playing them, but you certainly can, and it wouldn't hurt you. And then really coming all the way down to about, yeah, I'll come down here to about Charles Howell. Charles Howell's my, I'm not including him in this list. That's where my cutoff is, because 60th isn't the greatest. But, you know, Landry, not bad. Alex Prue has been playing really well lately. And course history is okay. I don't know what his price is. If it's, you know, less than 75, I think he might be worth a play. One thing I do want to point out is, well, first, one other guy, Johnny Vegas. Not a lot of guys are talking about him. He also hits a draw. I think this golf course can suit him well. He just has to be hitting his wedges close and obviously making his putts. It was Scott Brown. I wanted to talk about Scott Brown a little more. Pretty sure. Here he is. So he has one missed cut in there. But if he's less than $8,000, I really don't know the salary for Scott Brown, but if he's less than $8,000, he's definitely worth the play. I just want to point that out. All right, so let's get into the recent form. I already have it highlighted by the best recent form. We could talk about recent form. You know, Jonathan Bird has the best, but he has only played once in the last 7 weeks, and that was at the Canadian Open. I'm not going to take that really much into consideration. Ryan Palmer, again, you know, hasn't played since the Canadian Open. I don't know what to make of that. I really don't. I don't know if he needs the rest. I don't know if the rest is going to do him any good. I don't know if being outside of competitive play that long is going to, you know, create a little bit of rust. I have no idea. I like golfers who, you know, take a break before, like Kevin Tway. You know, although the tournament prior to, he missed the cut, but, you know, having 1 week off as opposed to 4 weeks off, I think is a little bit better at working on your game. You know, this is a month of not playing competitively. It's a month and a week, really. So yeah, I don't know how to make out Ryan Palmer, but I also don't really care about recent form all that much. I really only care about the week prior. And I'm going to show you why. And this happens to be in just about every tournament. Look at the top 10. You have Francesco Molinari in 2018, the only golfer with a recent form average less than 40. Come here. We've got 3 golfers less than 40. Everyone else, actually less than 50. Everyone else is above 50. Again, coming here, we got 2 golfers that are inside, well, less than 50. Less than 44, sorry. If we're going to cherry pick. Here you got Jordan Spieth, who has a good course history here at this golf course. Just, you know, everyone else after that. I mean, you got an 81.67, 74.4, a 70.25. Like Tom Gillis, where in the heck did he come from? Well, you remember the last week bucket? The 1 is a golfer who missed the cut prior to. I want you to keep that in mind. He also had course history. Same thing applies with Michael Kim. He missed the cut the week before, but he had course history. These things I like to look at to get a better understanding of golfers, to, you know, not just to cast aside, because some of these golfers, you know, coming to a tournament like this where there's not many big names can win the tournament. Brian Harmon missed the cut the week before. Zach Johnson didn't play. Jerry Kelly hadn't played. Jerry Kelly, that's very close to his hometown. There's Scott Brown. That's not a very good. I think this is our 6th or our 6 range, or the last week bucket 6. I'm pretty sure that's the range that he fell under. He's actually the only golfer to do that. But again, you know, recent form. You don't find many golfers that have good recent form. Jordan Spieth, sure. He's really, him and Francesco, elite golfers. There really aren't any elite golfers here. We might have elite golfers in the future in Matthew Wolff and Victor Hovland, but you know, for the time being, for right now, we don't know that. I guess you wouldn't have known that with Jordan Spieth either, although he did win in 2013, so the course history is already that good. Okay, let's just get into the DK page. We are now 13 minutes into the video. Let's look at some lineups. Let's create some lineups, or at least start in creating lineups. I haven't looked at a lot of these golfers. I do know, I kind of already have a sense of how I'm going to play this, what I like. I've already filtered the spreadsheet by last year bucket 1 golfers. Again, we want to find 3 of these golfers, and really we could come down here and basically throw all these golfers out. I don't think there are too many golfers down here that I really like or that I think are worth consideration. Dylan Meyer qualified. He Monday qualified. This area where the golf course is located in Silvis, Illinois, is near his hometown. So this is kind of a hometown event for him. I don't know exactly how to feel about that, because that doesn't necessarily provide success at a golf course. Okay. Golfers that I'm on that I like quite a bit. Lucas Glover is one of them. I'm just going to put a 1 for the time being, just to indicate that that's who I like. I also like Brian Harmon. I'm probably going to start my lineups with these guys right away. And really what I should do, well, I look at a lot of different things. So I like looking at the starting hole. Well, I like to look at tee times and who's playing together. You know, we have Matthew Wolff is playing with Charles Howell III. surprising that it's not with anyone else. Up at the top, I mean. So, Matthew Wolf. Those two. Where's the other 10? Oh, it was Kevin Streelman. And he withdrew. Something just doesn't add up. I don't understand why Adam Long. Is he supposed to be a 10? I wonder. Sorry, guys. I am just confused beyond belief. Kevin Tway. Okay. Did something just not transfer over? Oh, I understand why. I am a dunce. I have this sorted out by ones. That's why. Yeah. I know. All right, so we're just looking at ones. I get it. That's all we're doing. We're just marking the ones we like. We're gonna stick with that. I like Matthew Wolf. I like Colin Morikawa. I like Victor Hovland. Sung Jae I also like. Again, the 4s, we're gonna wait a little bit more than the 3s. I'm just gonna take hard stands on some of these golfers and just say nope, not gonna do it. If you remember, we wanted at least 1-1-1. So we could filter by that and see how many 1-1s there are, and there are a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, much more, 27 of them. So how many ones do we actually like? Well, this is where we can start looking at stats, which I'll just cruise on over here. You know, what stats do we want to look at? We want to look at bentgrass, history. Look at the golfer with the best bentgrass stats. I mean, right away, I have no idea who this is, but 55 events he's played on bentgrass, averaging finishing position of 44.6. Of the 55, 18% of them, he finished inside the top 10. That is Russell Henley. You know what? I'm just going to take a flyer on him. I like him. Kyung Hoon Lee, I think burnout's playing a huge factor with him. And I think I'll sprinkle him in, but I'm probably going to stay away from him. Let's just put a 2 next to his name. Just, not fully committed, but. And now, like, the overall, we don't really care too much. I mean, you got Freddie Yock in there with Alex Cheka and Peter Uihlein. Who knows? I mean, 6,000 is the bare minimum. Maybe you play him in a lineup if you're going to go stars and scrubs. Here, how about this? We'll just put 5s next to these guys, both of their names, or all 3 of their names. We can look at the percentage of finishing inside the top 10 just to see if we can find any other golfers that we really like. Right away, you get the top guys that we just marked. Let's look at approach, because approach is going to be huge at this golf course. That's the wrong way. There we go. Nate Lashley is your top guy with approach stats. Followed by Sepp Straka, Josh Teeter. There's Russell Henley once again. Cam Davis, Adam Long. I think we gotta add Nate Lashley. I think we have to. And I guess we'll do Sepp Straka. But of the 1-1s, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not gonna add any more. We've already had too much. I mean, we do have just 2 1s or 2 guys that we marked as a 1 that pretty much are at the top of our list. The rest of them just kind of sprinkle. I guess now we're on approach for all 1s. I like Castro. I don't think I'm gonna go with any of those guys. Fratelli's down here. I don't like that there's a 5, but I don't think that having a 5 really handicaps you. You don't really see many in the top 5, if any. Do we see any in the top 5? 1, 2 guys. Okay. Oh, last week. Sorry. Okay. Must have had a high number in 2017. I think that's the one that had all top 5s, right? Yeah. There are 9 golfers inside the top 5. Okay. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna leave it alone. Gosh, I like Pat Perez. He draws the golf ball. I just don't want to add too many golfers. That's the bad thing about lineup construction, is adding too many. Oh, there's a Johnny Vegas sighting. I do like him. We'll give him a 1. I do like add him on. All right. We're done. We're done. Not gonna do any more 1s. Go to 2s. Zach Johnson, obviously, definitely 1. Damon has decent course history. Kind of almost fits that mold that, you know, having a recent form compared or combined with kind of a terrible course history. Not terrible, but in the middle. I'll give him a 2. Chad Campbell, definitely gonna give him a 1. $6,500, guys. $6,500. Definitely worth it. Oh, did I marked the wrong guy. Okay. Actually, this is a pretty decent bucket that has a lot of golfers with good top 10 finishing positions. That kind of stinks. It definitely hard to choose golfers. Let's look at the recent form. This is a good chunk to look at. There's Scott Brown and Johnson Wagner. Okay. I basically liked everyone in that. Let's just move on without getting too carried away. Got a few golfers in this bucket as well. Can sort by the bent grass stats. I do like Danny Lee. I don't know about Cameron Tringali. Do like Kyle Stanley, but I'm concerned about his injury or what he's been withdrawing from events recently from. Brandon Harkins is a decent look to play. Brendan Todd is interesting. $6,400 for a golfer who has decent bent grass stats, especially finding the top 10. But his course history and recent form, just garbage. You know, when we go back to the recent form tab, we can also look at our course history and see if that really matters, you know, from year to year. And it looks like you've got a few that are, you know, 85, some in the, you know, 40 or the 60 to 80 range. And now we don't have any course history since we're in 2014. Man. I don't know, guys. I really don't. I don't know. Sure, I'll put something next to Trey Mullinax. Maybe we just look at stats now. Go to approach. Again, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, well, our approach, the guys that we liked have a high approach. I don't think we really have to do much with that. We can also come here and look to see how they're ranked in the field comparatively to other golfers. Oh, I wasn't all the way up to the top. Taylor Gooch is leading the way. He is the top ranked guy with approach in the field. He also is the second ranked guy when it comes to greens and reg. And has a really good birdie or better percentage. Taylor Gooch might just be worth a play. I think I just talked myself into him. He withdrew here last year for some reason. Oh, and his bent grass stats are awful. Well, now I'm switching him to a 2. All right, let's get into the 4s. Kind of getting to the stretch here. I like Joaquin Neiman. Definitely going to play him. I don't know how this is. Oh, is this still sorted by approach? Yes, it is. So Joaquin Neiman's 5th in the field with approach. Then it's followed by Von Taylor. I do like Von Taylor. Definitely going to play him in some lineups. Remember Chris Stroud? That was a guy that we were talking about. I'm going to play some Austin Cook. I like Austin Cook. I'll give him a 2. I'll give Chris Stroud a 2. Werenski had some decent finishing, or at least course history. I'm not going to play him. We're going to move on just for the sake of time. Really, I also don't care for some of those golfers, so that's also why I'm moving on quickly. We can basically highlight any of the ones. You know, any of these golfers, definitely worth a play. I had said with Ryan Moore, with how expensive he was, I'm not sure if I wanted to play him. Just going to mark these guys accordingly. If you're going to play a 5 again, just play one that it's also a 1. And then our 6s, we've got Palmer here. He is not a 1 for the last week bucket, so that's why I'm going to stay away from him. Kelly Craft is probably an interesting play. I can't do Bill Haas, a 6-6. That is never good. David Lingmerth. Well, out of this range, we'll just give these 2 and just keep it at that. I know that was just going through bent grass stats, but really that's all I care about. Oh, it's also by approach. Okay. Well, let's get into our lineup builds, guys. I know that kind of took a little bit, almost 30 minutes, no lineups. If you remember, or I should say I have a video out there showing you how to create mass lineups and also import them. So I kind of showed a strategy, a method of doing that if you're on one screen. I actually have 2 screens, so I can do this with 2. But I'm just going to show you I'm doing it with 1 by hitting Alt and Tab. You can go through all the windows you have open. You can see on my screen, you know, I have the OBS Studio, but I also have my lineup construction page. So what I'll do is I have this nice little spreadsheet that'll show me my salaries so I can create lineups. And honestly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start this out with Lucas Glover. He is my favorite golfer for the week. So again, I'll just come over here and paste them in there. The color coding allows me to it gives me a good visual as to how many 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, you know, of the last year bucket score golfers. So this is why I color code it. This is why I do it this way. So I'll always put in the far left how many. Basically, when I say I'm going to play this amount of golfers, I start with the far left, just like reading left to right, at least for English-speaking countries. Okay, Lucas Glover, got it. We're going to put, oh, this isn't highlighted by salary. We're going to go Lucas Glover with Brian Harmon. I'm going to pair those 2 golfers up together and then fill in the rest. I'm going to look for my 1-1 because neither of those golfers were 1-1s. They were both 1-4s. An easy way to do this, again, clear, just select 1s. Try to find your 1-1. I'm going to play some Russell Henley with those lineups just to give myself a little bit of a buffer when it comes to the average remaining salary. I like doing that. This will give me kind of a well-rounded. I am going to play in 40 lineups, so I kind of have to think about roster construction, how I'm going to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do, well, 6 lineups of 6. I kind of said that before, and I actually have a perfect amount to do that. what I'm going to do is cascade. We have our 3 ones, like we mentioned already before. Go back to the notes page, come down to the top 10. The minimum amount that we want with the last year bucket is 3. We can go up to 4. 4 is actually a very consistent number in that bucket. I do want to find my second bucket to follow, and that would probably be the 1 to 20 range. At least finding one golfer there. We also, when you come up here, we do see a 0. That is, worth of concern. That means not all the time are we going to find a golfer, but we do find it in the top 10. Or I should say we won't find it in the top 5 up there. We also have, for our 3s, definitely another one to play. At least one of. When we come back, actually go back to the DK page. We'll get rid of the 1s. We'll look at the 2s. Let's look at our favorite 2s. We don't need a 2-1. We have Zach Johnson. You know what? Let's see what it looks like. We'll put him in with the rest of these guys. That brings down our salary to $7,000. I don't personally like that, but I'm gonna see if I can make it work. I really don't like that. When it comes to salary, we could play Scott Brown. You remember that's more of a 3 than it is a 4. Bronson Burgoon, I like that. Oh, Scott Brown, I said under 8,000. He's 8,300. So that's like, around average. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to put Zach Johnson with this lineup. I might do it with some leftovers. How many 2-2s do we see? Quite a bit. Well, it's not consistent. All right. Yeah, 8,300. That I don't want that in this lineup. Boy, I wish I knew their ball flights. Both Sam Ryder. You know what? Let's go by approach. That'll be our leading decision maker here. So Burgoon will get the hat tip or the head nod, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we'll go with Burgoon. That'll keep our definitely keep our salary low and allow us to get more well-rounded golfers. Oops, we didn't want them there. We wanted them here. Okay, 7,900 between 2 golfers. Now we want someone in the yellow. We could also come back to the 2s, but we're just gonna go here with this. I have it sorted by approach right now. I don't really so much care about approach. Actually, you know what? I should have been doing this from the beginning. So we have Danny Lee at 7,600, Kyle Stanley at 8,800. For this 5th position, I rather have a higher priced guy. I don't think I'm gonna go with Kyle Stanley. 7,900 is what our average is, so this will cut it down to 7,100. Let's just go with Danny Lee, see what that looks like for the remainder. So we have 8,300. Now we could get to Scott Brown if we really wanted to. This is where I'll open up all buckets and just find someone around that price. So around this 8,300, it gives us access to Scott Brown, Martin Laird, Jason Duffner. I don't really like any of those. We have Nick Watney would be our first guy that we have. Scott Brown also could come back down to, oh, we already put Burgoon in there. Did we put Burgoon? I think we did, right? Yeah. All right, well, we're going to put Scott Brown. Just want to show you guys how this looks like. All right, that leaves us with 0. I don't necessarily like that, but I don't think it's not going to hurt us either. So I'm going to drag down to 6. So this fills in all 6. What I'm going to do from there, actually I'm going to go 7. Did I do 7? Yeah. Nah. We'll go 6. Lucas Glover is a favorite, so we'll just keep him there. Typically, sometimes what I'll do, I mean, I only have 40 lineups, so if I'm going to do 6 to 6, I have to do it this way. And that's perfectly fine. I'm willing to try that out. All right, so Brian Harmon. What I'll do is look at where Brian Harmon is, grab a golfer somewhere around his range that I like. Ryan Moore, perfect. This will change up the whole color scheme, which I like to do. It just shows you basically you wanted 2 1s. I have 2 2s now. I have a 3 and now I have a 5. This is how it diversifies your lineup build. We'll look at Russell Henley. What was he? 7,100, right? Where are you, Russell? There you are. Now we can look down here. Obviously, the guys that we've ranked down below. I could go to KH Lee. I'm a sucker for KH Lee. I kind of want to play him. Chad Campbell's down here at 6,500. That is a lot of salary to leave on the table. But you know what? Oh gosh, how many 2s have there been? Like, what's the max for 2s? 1. Minimum is 1. Max is 4. So we could go, sure. Just to show you kind of how I can leave some salary on the table. We'll do that. I am choosing Chad Campbell above, a lot of golfers that might have a little bit more potential. Just off of paper, because I know what some people feel like or think. There we go. So 600. That's a good way to diversify your lineups based off of salary. Now we're going to try to find Bronson Burgoon replacement. We have like Vaughn Taylor down to Danny Lee. Wait, Danny Lee's already in our lineup. We go there. We could even go further down. We could go to a Sam Ryder. We could also come down to Johnny Vegas. Maybe what I do is look at approach. Get rid of our blanks. Just look at golfers this way. Austin Cook. So there's Burgoon, 7,800. So Johnny Vegas. There we go. That was simple, right? Now we have 4 golfers who are last year bucket 1s. All right, Danny Lee, $7,600. We could go to, again, we could go back to Vegas. If we really like Vegas, sure, why not? Now we have exposure with Vegas and Lee and Burgoon and Vegas in case either of these guys bomb. That's totally fine by me. Now Scott Brown, here he is at 8,300. We already used Bronson Burgoon. We can't go down to him. We could go to Nick Watney, and that's what we're going to do. So that's an easy way of making 6 lineups that cascade like that. Now those are my Lucas Glover. I'll just call them my Lucas Glover Brian Harmon lineups. I can start with someone completely different. Let's start with Matthew Wolff at 10.5. And since we're going with 10.5, maybe we go with Chad Campbell since he's low. We can put him here at the back end, just to give us kind of an understanding of what we have left. We can still follow the same model that we did, trying to find 3 1s and maybe coming down to 2 like we did here. Go up to 4 like we did there, end here. So went down to 2 there. So, okay, we have Wolff. We have 8,200 left. Maybe we just pair Wolff with Harmon. Like, that's not a bad combination. Leaves us with $7,800. Like, I like how that looks. Maybe for this one, though, instead of, kind of living and dying on that hill, what I can do is, very interesting why that color scheme is like that. Maybe I go like Matthew Wolf, Lucas Glover, and then I can bring this down to 6. Bring Chad Campbell down with all of them, and then fill the rest in, just like I normally would, looking at salary. That way, I'm not putting too much exposure with Matthew Wolf, Brian Harmon. I do like these golfers quite a bit. For the sake of it, what I will do, I'm going to change it completely. We're going to do this, and that's fine. I'm going to drag this down to 6. And then I'm going to do this. I mean, if you like a golfer, you should, I wouldn't say go all in, but you definitely should have confidence in playing those golfers. Put Chad Campbell with all of them. So, all right, let's try to find a 1 around that 78, 77. I'm going to actually open this up to the rest of them. Cam Champ is a 1-1. I mean, he's definitely in consideration. Did I even put a 1-1 in any of those lineups prior to? I can't remember. I think Russell Henley's our 1-1. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, Doc Redman. Shoot. I do like Doc Redman quite a bit. Not the greatest stats on bent grass. I'll just give him a 2. I should have put him in that Russell Henley when we transferred. Actually, I don't know if we even had. No, we didn't have enough salary. Just kidding. Couldn't have done it. Oh, Bo Hosler. Why didn't I star you? I like Bo Hosler. Okay. That's who we're going to go with. We're going to go with Bo Hosler. That way we can also switch to the golfer we were just talking about, Doc Redman. And then we can limit our exposure to Russell Henley that way. Okay, so we're going to look for either a light green or a yellow that is what? Above 78. How about this? We'll put some Damon. Do we want to put Damon in there? It's a good way. It's like a good opportunity to put Kyle Stanley in. This is what I'm going to do. So for those that I have 8100 down with Brian Harmon, I'm going to do that. And then Joel Damon, I'm going to put here. I mean, we're already looking at 2 light greens, 3 dark greens. Now we find a yellow. Maybe we find an orange. Doesn't matter. 7,500 for each. So this helps us out. Austin Cook. Boom. I like Austin Cook. We're going to put him... You know what? Yeah, sure. We'll put him here. And then who else do we like around that? Bo Hosler. Sepp Straka's a 1-1. I didn't put a 1-1 with any of them, did I? Sure. Yeah. That's fine. We can put Sepp Straka there. And then we just cascade the same way. So we'll find a replacement for Harmon. Can I go up to 9,600? Sure can. There we go. Bo Hosler, we can go anywhere between 75 and less. Shoot, do we put Vegas back in there? Sure. We want some exposure to Vegas, right? Kyle Stanley. Put Lashley, or actually Damon, right? That way we can get some exposure with Brian Harmon and Matthew Wolf to go with Damon. That we didn't get that, when we were thinking about kind of how to work that into our lineups. So Sepp Straka, here's our 1-1. Do we go with Vegas again? We could. It's our way to get more exposure with Vegas. But then I'm gonna put a Johnson Wagner lineup there. There we go. And then Chad Campbell, 6,500. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel, but as you can see, we already placed a bunch of golfers down, or we marked some golfers we like down here. Really, I mean, Kelly Craft, maybe David Lingman. Oh my God, like both of them, I don't really care for. This is where I'm gonna look at the tee time. Let's put Lingworth. It's a bullet. That's fine. And now we have a little bit of diversity when it comes to those lineups. Again, we'll start here. Find someone to replace Glover. I think what we can do is right away get down to Zach Johnson. Actually, man. Oh boy, Sungjae. Yeah, let's put Sungjae. Okay. So again, we find a replacement for Hosler. We're not gonna go Vegas this time. We will go with somebody else. Let's go with Austin Cook. Wait, Austin Cook is already in this one. Never mind. Let's get our 1-1. Sepp Straka. All right, Joel Damon. Who do we replace him with? We replace him with Scott Brown. Austin Cook. Where was Austin Cook? He's orange. There he is. Okay, so we can go up or down. Let's just put in Redmond. And again with Campbell. Maybe this time we go the other route. We go with Kelly Craft. Ooh, I saw Julian Etalane. I like him. He can score well, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. Okay, so there we go. I know that was probably a little longer than what you guys probably think of, but that's only 3 lineups. Let's see if we can cruise through the other ones. So we have a Matthew Wolf. I'm going to do the same thing with Victor Hovland. Again, we like Brian Harmon and Lucas Glover, so why not put them in a bunch of lineups together? We can do almost the exact same lineup builds that we just did. This might be too much exposure of Brian Harmon and Lucas Glover, but hey man, I'm all in. I don't think I didn't like how the Chad Campbell route went last time, so we're probably just going to have a bunch of low 7K guys with this lineup. I just don't like the replacements, and I don't want that much exposure to Chad Campbell. So we need to find someone who is a little bit better or a little bit higher price so we can, mix between the two. Maybe it's in this range. I like Luke Donald. I don't have any ones until... Okay, so Russell Henley is going to actually anchor this lineup, which is going to make it kind of tough to put a lot of different golfers in here. Looks like we already have a Zach and Sungjae. That's fine. We can copy that same template again. That's totally fine. I'm not going to have that much Bo Hosler, but I do need to find golfers around that price. So I'm going to start it out with, I think, let's go with Danny Lee. Now, we do have our dark greens here now, so that's at least 3 per. We can start with Danny Lee. Okay, so 73 basically is our low end here. 75 is our high end, but we'll just stay with around 73. I guess we go Vegas, don't we? Troy Merritt is a decent play. He's been playing pretty well, but we can also get there. Yeah, you know what? We're going Sam Ryder. Swerved ya. Sam Ryder, that leaves 7,100 as our min. Let's just go down to 7,100 and look. You know what? We don't need Sam Ryder down here. Just thought of that. We can go one less than Sam Ryder. Vegas can be our guy here. Don't think I have Vegas starting out in any of these other lineups. These just splashed in here and there. Okay, perfect. So basically 72. 72. We already have Wagner in these lineups. No, we do not. So Wagner, I think, is going to be here. I selected the wrong. There you go. And 72 are better here. Joey Garber with a 33% bent grass, top 10 finish percentage. Crazy. Do we put Doc Redman here? Another 1-1? Man, I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. Thing is, I either have to go with someone like Sepp Straka, Bo Hosler, and then really nobody. Gross. Sure. Oh boy. All right. Yep. No, we'll do that. That's fine. So we've already started here. We'll go down to Danny Lee, try to find a replacement for Danny Lee for both lineups. Danny Lee here, 7,600. We probably have to go down one lower. Sam Ryder, to me, seems like a good pivot. Can't do it with that one. We'll do it with this one, though. Okay, so Sam Ryder, instead of Sam Ryder, we'll put Pat Perez. So we have one bullet with Pat Perez so far. Sam Ryder replacement. Could go Pat Perez again. But I think I'm going to do Troy Merritt here. Yeah, I'll do Pat Perez down here. Just to get some exposure. Oh, we can't. Vegas is actually cheaper. Okay. And we have Austin Cook in that one. I'll put a Bo Hosler there. Go to Redman. Doc Redman. Instead of him, probably I'm going to do some KH Lee. Put them in both. There we go. And then Henley can be replaced with KH Lee. There we go. So now we need one more lineup. This is where I kind of will either go further all in, or I will kind of, what is it called? Jeez, what's the term called? Hedge. I will hedge. So I'm going to do a Joaquin Sungjae lineup. That would be 7, not 6. I did not start out any lineups with Zach Johnson, but I do, like I said, I created 40, so I'll have 4 left over. So now we have 7,500, and I think what we're going to do is basically find a bunch of golfers around that. especially golfers we probably haven't played much of. So I think I do want some exposure to Scott Brown. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Scott Brown right here. I'm going to find a light green and put, or a dark green, put him there, because I do want at least 2, like I've said multiple times. Again, we can sort by this just to give us a better, like a cleaner feel about all of this. So those are my top ranked 1 golfers, huh? Man, do we just go all in on Russell Henley? Gosh, I don't know. That's difficult to say. I wish I would have seen some of his game last week. I had no idea what he did. You know what? We're just going to do it. We're going to go with Russell Henley. Actually, let's look at our exposure. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Okay. Too much Russell Henley. We're not going there. We have too much Bo Hosler. We have too much Johnny Vegas. Oh, gross. $72.67. Dang. Who has better approach stats? I think that's what we're gonna look at that. See which one of those golfers at the top that's a 1. It would be Henley. Wow. Henley is 23rd, 29th. 29th in the field in approach. Really, his putter's been letting him down. Proximity's pretty good. Birdie or better, not good at all. One of the worst in the field. That's probably because he's not rolling in any of his putts. Oof. Do we go with someone here? Is Vegas one of those golfers? No. Watney, Sungjae, and Von Taylor. What's Bo Hosler at? 28th, birdie or better. 5th in putting. Approach is just abysmal. Holy moly. Come on. Sam Ryder. Okay. He isn't a dark green, but he is. The stats just look way too good. That's how we got on him. We can look at our 2s. Try to find a good salary golfer. You know what? KH Lee is gonna round this one out. I'm gonna put a dark green here with KH Lee. Doesn't really give us a lot here, but I think he's a good pivot from Russell Henley. And then to fill out that lineup, I think, boy, I like Johnson Wagner. I like Bo Hosler. Now that we have our 2s with us, do we have anyone that's at the top that's in that price range that we like? Oh, Taylor Gooch. Roberto Castro. Man, all right, so this is what we're going to do. I get it. I know what I'm going to do with this last one. It's going to be slightly different than what you expect, but So I'm going to select actually all of those golfers. Oh, that is how that's done. I don't so much care. I typically create lineups this way where I'm just randomizing this. I'll click and drag all the way down. Now I can, this will be easier to try to figure out. So we need to find a replacement for Sungjae. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do this. We'll go one more down. Find a replacement for Neiman. Right away, Glover. Okay. And one for Sungjae. Could choose Glover, but I'm gonna go ZJ. Actually, look at how much salary. Yeah, no, we'll keep it that way. Sam Ryder. Do we play a bullet of Cam Champ? I wonder. Or go back to Danny Lee. I'm gonna go back to Danny Lee. Scott Brown, 8,300. We go with Damon, Lashley, Laird, Duffner, Watney. Even come down to Burgoon. But we put a bullet of Laird in there. That's fine. KH Lee. How about we put a bullet? Gosh, I want to play Donald. I think he's rounding back into form. Could also look at the best scorer on average looking back. I wouldn't so much care about Zach Suker, since that's kind of a one-time price. You know what? I'm a sucker. I like to lose money. We'll put in Luke Donald, and then Chad Campbell with $800 left over, meaning we could pick anybody that we wanted. Maybe this is how we come back and save ourselves. We play some strep. There. That makes a good lineup. I'm actually going to leave it there. That is essentially 6 lineups of 6, showing you guys how to do that. We're at an hour long. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I didn't put you guys to sleep. And hopefully, you know, you got a little something out of this. And you're able to follow along pretty decently. But anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you guys do well this week, and good luck. Like the video if you liked it. Comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you Sunday.